While vacationing, a girl and her parents are taken hostage by armed strangers who demand that the family make a choice to avert the apocalypse. The year is 2023. The movie is an hour and 40 minutes and rated R. The movie is Knock at the Cabin.
You've reached Call in Mockery.
We saw Knock at the Cabin, and we're going to talk about it in the most spoilerific way. But
Yes.
first, shall we at least tell them what we thought about it without spoilers?
Yeah, let's get into it. I think we've got pretty differing opinions. This is not an episode of and then they did that and that was cool. And then they did that and that was cool. This is going to be an episode quite unlike any you've ever heard. And that's you know how they do trailers for the trailer now?
Yeah.
Where they show, what's a movie that's coming out? Oh, like Paint, where you see Owen Wilson as Bob Ross. Paint. He's like painting, and he's like, little flowers. Ow, my name's not Bob Ross. And you're like, what? And then doom, paint. And then it starts with the actual trailer. That's my trailer to the trailer.
Okay.
So here's the show. This is M. Night Shyamalan. How many movies has he done he's kind of come back, yes?
He was in jail for a while. Creative Hollywood jail, that is.
Yeah.
He made a couple stinkers, as they say. A couple of which I disagree with their reputation, but we can get to that if we want to. Then he does The Visit, and everyone says, all right, maybe he's still a little stinker, but we like him. And then he does Split, and everyone's like, wait a minute, this guy's good.
Yeah.
Wait, he's good? He's been good the whole time, and we were stupid?
Also, that's the twist that everyone likes. Like, that's the one that, I mean, I know people didn't like it, the twist at the end of Split, but for my money, with all his other movies, it was like, and then he did the twist, and it's actually, they don't like water or whatever. But when the twist at the end of Split came out, everyone's like, I stood up in my seat and screamed. I screamed at everyone in the place. And everyone went like, he's good, and this twist is crazy. It's a sequel to a movie that 80% of the people seeing this movie didn't see.
Yeah.
But then he did Glass.
Yeah, then he did Glass, and
we all fell asleep.
Glass is kind of interesting. I want to rewatch Glass, but
I still haven't seen it.
Then he does Old. I think people are kind of mixed on that one too. I enjoyed it. It's not my favorite of his work, and he's doing that Servant show over on Apple TV.
I need to watch that.
The first season
ending.
Yes, it's ending. The first season was great, and then somehow 4 seasons happened, and I didn't know that. And now it's ending, so I'll have to go back and rewatch it. But I really like the first season. And
is he directing those? All of them?
He's directed
a couple of them. He's producing it mostly. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good.
But Rupert Grint is also a little weirdo in that, if
I
remember right. But yeah, M. Night Shyamalan, everyone basically doesn't like him, but he keeps...
Except you.
Yeah, I would say he's one of my favorite filmmakers. And you can make fun of me. Go ahead. Try.
I don't have... I mean, you're doing it to yourself.
Anything you say to me, I've heard 12 times over, and I don't care. It's not my fault that you got tricked by the trailers for Lady in the Water and went in thinking it was going to be the scariest movie you've ever seen.
It's a fairy tale.
It turned out to be a romantic fairy tale about companionship and the creative process. I'm sorry. That's not my fault that I could sit down and enjoy that. That's your fault.
Well, it's got the great Giamatti in it, who is also known. I think he's known for that movie and being Albert Einstein in the Verizon commercials.
Yes.
My balls have entered a black hole.
Should we talk about this movie now that
how do you put that wig on and look in the mirror in your trailer?
You
and go, it's come to this.
You get millions of dollars.
Do they give him a phone?
Actually,
do you think?
Yeah, probably. He got a good deal
on
a phone plan.
So Knock at the Cabin.
So Joey, just quick spoiler free. What'd you think?
Yeah. It's hard to do this without spoilers. I will say, and most of what I have to say will come in the spoiler section. It was a well done film. I like him. I haven't seen all of his movies. Still haven't seen Lady in the Water. Have not seen Old yet. But I have kind of changed my tune on his past films, like The Village. Actually, I would like to rewatch that one soon. I like The Visit. I kind of like the guy. I like that he tries stuff. And this was well done. From the very first, the way he shot it, great. The first scene between the two characters at the beginning, I said, this is great. He's back. By the end of the movie, I said, no bueno.
Okay.
So it was fine. I think it's hovering in the mid 60s. If you look at Rotten Tomatoes and sort of the audience score, which I just judging by reading some of the audience scores by people whose IQ is that of a peanut or a rock.
Yeah.
Because they're the worst. It's just the dumbest stuff I've ever read. I think I generally agree with that it deserves about a 60%.
You agree with the dumb idiots? Is that what I think that's what you said.
It's an average. It's an average of the smartest people.
Yeah, you're an average.
Giamatti as Einstein.
You're an
down
average
to
pea brain. Average pea brain.
A peanut. Peanut/rock brain.
Sure. All right. Well, there's my spoiler-free reaction is that I love the movie. It's not my favorite Shyamalan, but it has it did things that the best, not even my favorite, but the best Shyamalan movies do well. It made me feel. Yes, it did. People always say Shyamalan, he makes all of his actors act like wood planks, and he writes terrible dialogue and stuff like that. Well, sometimes that's true, yes. But sometimes you have to think about it and say, what could be the purpose of this? And by the end of this movie, I was feeling emotional. And let's see what else. I liked it. It was. I just the way he creates tension. It was on display here in spades, in my opinion.
That's fine, but to me, I know what we'll talk about. What's the point of this movie?
Sure.
To me, I say, what's the point of this movie?
Gotcha.
And I know what is being said about it. I know what I'm supposed to gain from it. But I say, what is the point of this? I felt like at the end of it, there's no point to it. This was better as some play that's being held off Broadway in a little theater with the seats all around, and sometimes the actors trip and you can smell them because they're so close to you, and they come towards you, and it's just 5 people on stage pretending to be in a cabin, and you go, wow, it's a play. It was a play, and it's not one that I wanted to sit through with a man next to me who had not taken a shower for many days. And
well, don't invite me then, I guess.
You said you're still on COVID time, and I'm like, we are going back to work. We've been going out and doing stuff.
Okay, well, let's. I do want to talk about my theater experience, because I went to the movie and they didn't turn the lights down. like they're supposed to.
Uh-huh.
You know how they're dim when you're walking in, and then during the trailers, or after the trailers and the little commercial for the theater that you're already at, they start to dim the lights. They never dimmed them. They never dimmed them. So I was thinking, oh God, this is going to take me out because I'm going to look over to my right and see the lady who's staring at me the whole time. But even that didn't deter me from enjoying this movie and being fully invested in everything that was happening. But then at the end of the movie, a very loud lady and her person she was with stood up and said, "Well, I won't be watching one of his movies in the theater again."
Oh.
As loud as she possibly could as she's walking out. "I'll wait for his movies to come onto the TV," she said.
She's one of the half stars on the Rotten Tomatoes website.
But
I'll
again,
wait for his movies to come on the TV.
Again, I think it is just no one quite gets it yet. And I don't know if I fully do either, but no one gets. He's been working for 20, 30 years at this point.
Yeah.
No one gets that what the trailer shows you, you're not just going to go see a home invasion movie. You're not. That's not it. He's doing something different. He uses the tropes and the genre and the cinematic language of the film you think you're seeing to do something different. And that's why we should be praising him, not condemning him.
They also did not turn the lights down all the way in my theater. And I think I hate going to the movie theater now. No one knows how to project anything.
Yeah.
The movie's always way too dark, and not in the way that's like movies are supposed to be dark. It was not being projected correctly.
Yeah.
It just sucks. The whole experience sucks.
They do it wrong. But that's why I've committed to only seeing the movies in like the Super Screen Deluxe at my local theater. They have 4 theaters that are gigantic screen. They're the good theater. Because every time I see a movie in the small ones, the sound is too low or way too high. The screen is barely visible because all the lights in the room are on. Something is always off. And sometimes even on the super screen is bad. But usually they take a little more care because they know that that's the one that people, I don't know, those are the movies that people want to see.
Right.
So they're in the big theater. Anyway, yeah, the theater industry is broken. But let's get into the movie.
Should we put our spoiler blinders on now?
Yeah, let's go ahead and put those on. If you still haven't checked out the movie, go ahead and check out of this episode.
And you're going in knowing that opinions are split, tensions are running high. This is your chance to go see it in an exciting way.
Yeah.
Bye. Okay, now that you've seen the movie. Okay, now that they're gone.
Okay. Now that they're gone, and now that they've seen the movie, and they're back.
I think something you said earlier is wrong.
Okay.
I think that this was a movie that what I saw in the trailer that's what I got.
Well, yes, there was.
And is the twist? We left and said, is the twist that there's no twist? Is he playing off his own that we know him? And is that good?
First of all, I think it's important to note that this was based on a novel.
Right. That has a different ending.
It has I believe it does have a different ending, and it has some different aspects, but I think it's the first time that he's adapted an existing work. So that's interesting in and of itself, because it isn't
his fully.
It isn't his fully, but he is still leaving his fingerprint on it in a way that only he can. And that everyone, as far as I know, loves the book and only half of the people love the movie. And the other half despise it.
I've heard the book even had an ending that wasn't, people didn't, it's a divisive ending to the book as well.
Yeah, that is true.
This ending is a little more, I'd say maybe a little more faith-based.
It's one of my favorite things about the guy. He's so fascinated with belief.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in almost every one of his movies. And it's just, I don't know. I can't quite tell which way well, I can. But I don't know if he's like a deeply spiritual guy or he just.
I think he is.
I think he's.
I don't know if he's religious, but I think he is. I think he wants to see some sort of. I mean, he wants to scare us sometimes, sure.
Mm-hmm.
But he wants to figure out what people believe and maybe give us some. Like this, I would say, is a good ending in terms of. It's not a scary like these people are all dead and this happened and this is like the end of a horror movie. It's like an uplifting ending. It's a positive ending.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he missed a good way to end the movie.
Interesting. Let's hear, Mr.
We'll get into it. Let's go through the movie.
Sure.
Because it's something that happens partway through the movie where I thought if it ends this way, great.
Okay.
And it didn't. And it would have been the same thing with belief.
Okay. Well, okay. Let's say this. There was a second or third trailer. I can't remember which. I've been purposely avoiding trailers because I knew that it's based on this book that I haven't read, but I've read Paul Tremblay's, a couple of his other books, short story collection, and the Big Little Sleep, I think it's called. I like his stuff. This has been on my list, but I didn't get around to it. And then I had heard that the ending is well, I heard that the ending was great. So do not watch any promotional material. Go in as blind as possible. So that's what I tried to do. But I did see after the fact there was another trailer that was released that does basically give the movie away.
Wow.
So you may have seen that trailer.
I don't think I did, but I think what I was given in the trailer, because I don't even know if I watched, like I read about what the movie was about and saw, I think the first teaser, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to go see it. I like Dave. I like Mr. Bautista. I like Mr. Grint. Wake up, Mr. Grint. And I like, I don't know, other people in the movie. What do you want me to just name people? Is that what the podcast is now?
No.
I can name people that I like if you want me to.
Jonathan Groff. The guy whose mouth moves a lot. And we'll get to that. But
no, I think I know why. Because I think when I looked him up, I'm pretty sure he's British.
Oh.
So he's fighting against his
He's trying to maintain his accent.
Yeah. Just like someone else in the movie. I'm from Massachusetts.
Yeah. Okay, let's get into the movie.
Okay, Mr. Bautista shows up. We know him as one Mr. Leonard.
Yes.
The first thing we get is and I think this little girl, contrary to one of these half-star reviews I read, I think she's great.
It's incredible.
Someone said she was bad, and I couldn't.
How?
I don't understand what you see in the world that would make you think she's bad. She's probably the best actor in the movie. For what is going on around her, the thing you're asking this kid to imagine, day in and day out for like, do this take, and oh, by the way, remember, it's the apocalypse. Like,
yeah. No, she's incredible. And
she's great.
Immediately, her and Bautista have a chemistry that is probably not seen in any other of Shyamalan's movies. Like you're immediately endeared to Dave, and he's great in the movie. I love him. She's great.
worried when she was talking to the grasshoppers, because it took me back to The Visit, which has some of the worst dialogue in history for kids, where he just thinks it's funny that a little kid would rap, and I hate it. I can't stand it. I hate it.
The
It's
guy
bad.
he's what do they call it?
Weird.
He's just like, well, he's chuggy.
Yeah, that's right.
He's
and
cringe.
Even saying that, Landon, you're chuggy.
He's cringe. He's a chuggy. He is,
Yeah.
but he's also like brilliant. Also,
so we get this between these two characters, all done in close up. Very interesting,
and increasingly Dutched, canted angles to the point where, like, halfway through, it is just on its side, basically. Like, halfway through the conversation, you're turning your head sideways to see. No, but it worked. It created so much tension.
But I trust Leonard. I trust that he's a good guy.
Him. Yeah.
So there's no ambiguity. I think that's why this happens. I don't think he has this conversation with her and then you find out later that he has killed 17 children. No. I think it's to show that he gets her. He is there to do what he believes is right. And very, very good, very good thing. Then the others come out of the woods dragging their homemade sticks. And she runs inside. We've got the husbands. And I think this is one of the best depictions of how you would act in a home invasion. Like, they're it's so many movies, it's just like you're getting a stylized version of someone's trying to break into someone's house. Like, when he realizes they're trying to break in and he just like yells they're breaking in, like he can't believe this is happening to them. And their voices are shaking. They're trying to calmly, like, okay, we're two gay guys in the woods that we're like, who knows what these people want from us? Is it because of that? Is it because of something else? You find out he's talked to their child. Like, it just keeps increasing the the tension of what's happening.
I also think I read that the book, they're also a gay couple in the book, but there's less. It's more of just like presented as they're a couple, and there's less to do with like that. So I don't know. I think that's interesting. Without having read the book, I can't speak to it at all. So I just thought that was interesting that Shyamalan, and I think there was one other writer, maybe a couple, I don't know, but that they sort of added the homophobia element to it. It kind of points to me to that he is still like slightly out of touch, where it's like 10 years ago, maybe.
Well, because it's brought up so much. It's like, why do you have two, like, why do you call him this?
Yeah.
And then, like, she brings it up, and then I think the implication of them being in the cabin, like, without it being said, these people are trying to break in, and it's like, could it be a hate crime or something? That's implied.
Yeah.
But I feel like, while there are reasons he does it, I even feel like the going back to the parents flashback and the bar stuff, I feel like that's a dead end of this, like, we're being persecuted. And I don't think that's the point of the movie.
No.
So I don't get why.
In a way it is, but there's not enough to it, because at the end of the day, I think the movie is operating on this. What I love about the movie, I'll just spoil it right now, baby. Everyone is operating out of empathy. Like, no one is a bad guy. The villains are driven by love. That's great. That's just cool. What a strong message in a deeply hate-filled world, that everyone is operating out of belief in selflessness and love for their common man. I think that is in line with the sort of like, what if you took the most persecuted people and made them, kind of recalibrate what they're seeing as an act of hate towards them as an act of love towards
Mm-hmm.
everyone. Like that's, I don't know, there's something there, but there was not, maybe not enough to make it impactful, or just like currently, not to say there's not people obviously that hate gay people,
Mm-hmm.
but it seemed like kind of less, I don't know. It's because it's not really about that. Like you said, that's not what the movie's about. So it kind of seems more of like and it's also about this
Well,
because
and
ding.
it seems to be taking Jaw Guy, Andrew, Mr. Ben Aldridge. It seems it kind of turns him into this one note, like here's why he wants to protect his family. Here's why he has
Yeah.
a gun. Here's why he thinks it's, but it's not. And it's sort of a one note, like his parents don't like that he's gay. The other
Yeah.
guy's parents, it is implied that don't they don't care.
Yeah.
They're on his side. And I don't know how that really plays into the larger story other than kind of padding the time out. And it gets into some of the pretty big plot holes in the movie that
Well,
I can't seem to get behind.
what's also interesting about that in particular, and then we can move on
Mm.
to all of your points that I will refute and prove to you that it is in fact good. um, because Jonathan Groff, yeah, his parents are fine with it, but it seems that he's like religious in some way. Because they even make a point when they're about to go in for the adoption,
Mm-hmm.
um, where Jaw Guy is like, "You can say a prayer if you want. I won't judge you."
Uh-huh.
And that's like kind of all you need for you to know Groff is believing in something. Maybe he's not deeply devout, whatever, but he already has that. And it seems like Jaw Guy doesn't at all.
Mm-hmm.
To the point that he even tells his husband, I won't make fun of you for believing in whatever you want to believe.
Yeah.
So you would think that to make that flashback more impactful, maybe the religious family would be more against it.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe Jaw Guy is an atheist because his parents are so religious. And there's just maybe not enough there for us to know one way or another what we should be doing with it. So it just
Mm-hmm.
kind of falls flat. So I agree with that.
It was just a weird, like you said, sort of dated inclusion. And not dated in a way that it doesn't need to be touched on anymore. But I was just like, why are we acting like
Yeah.
this someone having two dads is like the biggest? Even I mean, even when he brings it up when they first tie them up, like, are you doing this because of this? And they say no, like we didn't know your
Yeah.
family situation. We were just called here. Great. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all I need. I'm a little confused about I mean, so he has the gun because he was attacked at a bar. Um, I guess, presumably because they're gay. I'm, I don't, and I've been thinking about this for days. Why was it Redmond? And why is he using a fake name?
Yeah. I have been thinking about that too.
So refute me, oh mighty refuter.
Well, I think,
What's why? Because we don't get there's nothing that comes of this guy being there. He's there the shortest amount of time. And I know at the end he goes, Rigby, they are all playing the Four Horsemans, Malice, Contempt, Norish, and Leonard. And I know he's supposed to be Malice.
yeah,
And and this is, and I'm trying to watch this movie and not go, okay, there doesn't need to be a twist just because this guy made it.
that's
Because
your problem. Here,
That's his problem.
No. That's your problem. And that's all of you and your peanut-brained brothers on Rotten Tomatoes. You can't just go into a movie and enjoy it. You can't. You have to bring all the best. You don't.
I can, but when he goes,
forget
I know
that he made
guy,
After Earth. Forget that he made After Earth. Forget.
I can't.
Forget it. Forget The Village. Forget the twist.
No.
Leave your expectations on the door.
But so on the
door.
Even without the knock at the cabin door, which he knocks 7 times. Think about that. Yeah, 7 days of the week.
7 deadly sins.
So why? You're not answering me. Why?
Because you kept talking.
Because he says, I know where I know that guy from. Get me his thingy that's got his thingy on it.
Right.
Give me the thing that says your name when you're born. Show me.
Mm-hmm.
Show me the driver's license you get when you're born. Show me.
And Leonard says it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have time. It's not going to make this decision any easier or harder. It doesn't matter who he is. Would I have just
peg leg
would I have just let it be unresolved? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because it does sort of, but here's the thing. I do also kind of like the idea that there is this sort of doubt that's running through the movie, and every piece of information that we get about Redmond adds to our doubt of what we believe Leonard. Mm-hmm. We believe the bad guy. And we are, it's just, I don't necessarily know, but I think it's pretty a neat trick of the movie to introduce these little instances of doubt for the audience and the guy, but we believe Leonard, but every time we get new information about Redmond, it makes us doubt what Leonard is telling us, what we're seeing on the news, and it speaks to, maybe there's like a sort of an online QAnon conspiracy thing that kind of gets mentioned and all that. I think all of that's deliberate. It kind of evokes sort of doubt for what we see and what we know to be true. Just the fragility of what we believe and how quickly it can be slightly toppled with just one little piece of information. For him, for Jaw Guy, that solidifies everything he needs to know. Oh, Redmond, once he finally sees the driver's license, well, this is not just some apocalyptic whatever. No, this is a hate crime. This guy got a bunch of other people who are delusional to come target us. But for the audience, it creates doubt. Now we're confused again, at least for a moment. Isn't that cool? Don't you find that compelling?
I just felt like I was on Leonard's side.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the apocalypse was happening.
Yeah.
I don't think I once doubted, to put the words of Philip Seymour Hoffman into your mouth. I don't think I doubted when that was it the earthquake hits and then the tsunami, the second earthquake happens. Mm-hmm. I said, okay, well, this is real. So what does that mean? And then for the next hour, it's just slowly, I was like, okay, so the apocalypse is happening and we're just watching this guy say, no, it's not.
Yeah.
But I knew it was, and I knew it the second time, and I knew it the third time.
Sure.
And I knew it the fourth time. And then finally at the very end, it's like, okay, I guess he's right because the world is falling around us. Mm-hmm. But the whole time it's like, okay, yes, it's happening.
No, he doesn't, he doesn't fully commit until his husband convinces him.
Because he's bringing up points that are... He's bringing up good points that aren't... like, how is the TV... The thing with the TV being pre-recorded? And he's like, you knew, like, you're checking your watches. And he goes, because they said we don't get service out here. They cut the telephone lines. Is the TV getting cable? Is it pre-recorded? Because he keeps saying that. Unless he just wants to believe that. But how are they getting the news out there then? Wasn't that the point? They don't have any service?
Well, they don't have cell phone service. But
he keeps saying this is pre-recorded, and no one's telling him. No one's saying, like, no, it's not. And they switch to, like, you know.
They can't just say, no, it's not. That's not very cool.
But they just look at him. I mean, they're playing...
What are you gonna do? The movie still wants you to be unsure.
But I wasn't. That's the thing.
It sounds like you were, because you're saying he's bringing up good points.
I'm just saying that, like, I believed what they were showing him.
Okay.
I'm saying there's plot holes. And, like, well, yeah, how did they... If they don't get TV out there... Because he goes, like, it says it's pre-recorded at the bottom of the screen or something. I didn't effing see that.
Yeah, I didn't see that either. I mean...
So I maybe that's just part of the confusion of him trying to not... Obviously, you don't want to believe the apocalypse is happening, especially if you're not a spiritual or religious person. That shatters your entire worldview, your entire reality. And he is a human rights attorney who knows how to deal with it, probably deals a lot with these type of people. And of course, these type of people being the people we're supposed to sympathize with, which is the QAnoners. Uh-huh. This movie tells us that QAnon is real. These theories are real. We should believe them.
Yeah, well, that is my only big issue with the movie. Is that it does kind of suppose a world in which the freaks are right.
Mm-hmm.
But to your other point, I mean, I think it's all just... I don't know if there's necessarily... But they're not conspiracy theorists on purpose. They are given information from a higher power.
Mm-hmm.
Actually. Now, do we... You could read this
Cox.
As... Yes. Walking hard as anyone can. You could read it as, okay, well, if that's true, then we should believe anyone who says, I saw Jeebus and he told me to shoot my wife.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, okay, well, he's just doing what Jeebus told him to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't necessarily like that. But it is because a movie, so...
It's just weird at a time when there's so much disinformation coming out.
Yeah, disinformation.
His screwed up little brain of, like, everything's a little game in life. What if you went to your grandparents and guess what? So he's like, what if these people that are thinking JFK is going to come back in the body of Pluto from Disney's Mickey Mouse are right? And they're right, and we should have listened to them this whole time.
The only difference, though, is that these people in the movie have the most tangible evidence ever.
But my point is, why? So people, they come here, they come to the cabin. We've been shown this. So one of you needs to die. Okay, that happens. And the world's saved.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they came there. They said this for 2 hours. We watched them talk about it. They did the thing they needed to do that they told them they needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
everyone just does the thing.
Yeah.
They're driven by this. We were told we have to do this.
Mhm.
You have to do this. They do the thing. So what? Who cares?
You're alive right now because of their sacrifice, you ungrateful swine.
Wouldn't it be cool? Here was my idea.
Okay, let's hear your idea, and then we'll get back to, I think we left off, 20 minutes into the movie?
What if
go ahead.
What if they, because I feel like it ramps up so quickly where it's like, okay, now we gave you a choice. You said, no, this guy has to be killed. That's what their vision showed. To kill someone to bring a plague upon the world. What if it didn't get that far, but they finally did make a choice to kill one of them? Say it was the husband that died still. But there was no apocalypse that had happened thus far. And you're left wondering the whole time, is the world, because they leave the cabin and nothing has changed, is that because they were told to do the thing and they did it, so everything's fine? Or was it fake, that these people just come into the house and make them choose someone to kill, and they said the world will be fine if you make this choice? Because he has shown without a shadow of a doubt that this is happening,
right?
So they must do it. I think it would be more interesting if they make the choice and they leave the cabin not knowing, did we save the entire planet or did we just murder someone in our family because 4 lunatics told us to do it?
Yeah, I mean, that's the darker horror version,
I guess. Well, that maybe I wanted that. Maybe I didn't want him
sounds
to
like
go
you
to
wanted a different movie.
I didn't want him to go to a diner and a woman to be on the phone and go, "It's okay, honey. Everything's going to be okay now. The world's going to be okay."
Yeah.
I didn't want that.
No, you wanted the movie that the other smooth brains on Rotten Tomatoes wanted. And that's fine. There are movies like that. You can watch any sort of home invasion movie and you can get that.
But this is that would be an interesting take on it. They did what they were asked. Is it because did they do the right thing for God, Jeebus, the universe, Mary Magdalene, Joseph
Jesus,
the Father,
jumping Jehoshaphat.
Or did these people break into their house, play some sick, disgusting game on them, and then they just went to the next house on the block?
Yeah, that's...
I'm just watching 4 people do something good.
Yeah.
I'm sick of it.
Sick of it? We've never seen it before.
I watch Ty Pennington go fix people's houses all the time. I don't need to go to the movie theater and watch people be nice.
That's what I love about the movie. See, I think people are just too cynical. You're a cynic, bud. I feel bad for you.
Where'd I set my fake drink? There it is.
When they get in the car after the diner and their song comes on, tell me you didn't get a little tug.
No, that was nice. And then he turns it off, and then she turns it on. She
and
gets
sees
her fill.
sees that it affects the last person on earth that she loves, and she turns it off, and then he turns it back on.
I'm getting goosebumps.
I'm
right
getting
now.
goosebumps because even to the very end, I mean, that's the point right there.
Oh, here's what I think:
unfledging, unwavering empathy and unwavering love for everyone. That's the point. That's the point.
Here's
even
the
in the smallest moment when the radio's on and you know that it's going to make someone sad, you turn it off. But then the other person knows that it selfishly, no, I want to hear this. I want to make me happy. Turns it back on. Then they know unselfishly, but this hurts you, so I'll turn it off. And then the other person says, I need to be selfless and turn it on for both of our sakes because we both need this. God, that's beautiful.
You want to know my favorite part?
Sure.
Because as we were leaving, I think I was asked the question by whom I live with was something about, well, like that guy that survived is like the weird husband. Like that guy, Daddy Andrew, sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Like, why did he get to live, or what? Like why? Because he's been like mad the whole time. The other guy's been nothing but nice and understanding. And I said, because when it happened in the movie, I said, aha. Because when he goes up to get her from the treehouse, she said, what the hell's his name? Eric?
Yeah.
She goes, did Dad Eric save the world?
Yeah.
So I go, well, that's why.
Mm-hmm.
He saved his sacrifice is what saved it. It's not the surviving.
No,
that was the right choice.
No.
He's the guy that did it, not
He's
because
the
he
hero.
chose to kill someone. It's because he died. Did Dad
said,
Eric save the planet? And he said, and he just sat there and cries, and she understands.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone went on to Rotten Tomatoes and said half a star. This child is not good at acting.
That's insane. That's insane. Look, I mean, it's not a perfect movie, but I think it is good. I think it's really good.
I think it's good too. That's why I'm hovering in the 60s. I just some of it was just just happened. It kind of just happened.
Yeah, but I mean, that's kind of what you're left with. Like that's how those characters have to feel. Like they just get on the road and go to a diner. No one knows anything that happened.
Mm-hmm.
These two people will never be the same again. And they know this unconscionable truth about the universe.
That guy's going to church on Sunday.
No, I don't know. I mean, I think more than like any religion specific, it's just it's a film that that sort of promotes the importance of the spirituality of man, and the capital man, not gendered man, but the connectedness of humanity.
When Redmond gets killed, did you see the figure that Eric says he saw?
No,
I didn't either, but I'm looking at a screenshot of it and it's cool.
Oh, really? Well,
but I didn't see it when it happened. It must have been so quick.
Yeah. I mean, I saw the light and I was like, oh, okay.
There's the light, and then there's a little figure behind him that looks like a Lord of the Rings character.
God, what do I even type in to look at this? Send it in the chat, will you?
Yeah, I'm gonna send that over. That's gonna be this is gonna be an exclusive.
Scoot the piece of paper across the desk that we're sitting at.
Yes. Sorry, 1 second here. Hold on. It's a pretty big piece of paper.
Here's one other thing that I wish would have happened, and I would hope that maybe is in the book. But because they're like, you have weapons, you have insane weapons. They're like, no, these are our tools. I was expecting all of these tools that they made out of like, it's like a pitchfork and a machete taped together, and like a big axe and a like little weight on the other end or something. I was expecting these to be like, oh, we're going to see them utilize the tool in the way that it's supposed to be used.
Yeah.
But no, they just smacked each other with them. They were just weapons.
They were, yeah.
But not to be used on them, to be used on themselves. And it is a tool to stop the apocalypse. It's not a weapon in that way. But I still would have liked to, like, I was excited to see, oh, wow, I bet these are all going to have like a very specific use that we're going to see, and it's all going to make sense. And that did not happen.
No, they just crunch bone.
Yeah.
They did smack people. They were weapons.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go. See. Landon's getting an exclusive photo here.
Why'd that take so long?
You'd think you'd just be able to drag and drop messages from places, you know? Yeah, save it to your desktop.
Oh. Is that real? That was in the movie?
That's from an article I'm reading, and it's says Universal Pictures underneath it in the article.
I mean, it's
Like
gotta
they
be.
sent it to him.
Yeah, I did not see that.
How did you what did you think about the apocalypse stuff?
Oh, yeah, that's the other thing I want to say. M. Night is now 2 for 2 on making me scared of seeing a cell phone video. He had us with signs when the alien comes around the corner. It's behind. Scariest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. But this is a different kind of fear when you see the wave start to grow and grow and grow and grow. The only issue is it went on too long. Showed too much. Should have cut away.
Funny that you see the camera underwater.
Yeah. Well, I did turn to the woman with whom I live and say, how did they get this footage then?
Yeah, that was. Oh, I was just at that beach this summer.
Wow.
And knowing how big that rock is, when they said Cannon Beach, and I said, we could have been there for the apocalypse. And the guy next to me said, shh, I'm trying to smell. So that was scary.
Okay, but before you say that that's like a plot hole, and it's not a plot hole, by the way, but before you get too mad, I was thinking about this, and I was thinking, well, this person could have just been live streaming, and then a news team in a completely different state obtains the footage from a live stream because it's immediately uploaded once the live stream ends.
Right.
So that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't care about that as much as them not getting any service in the woods. But that's scary. The COVID the COVID one, which it's, whatever. It's a pandemic. You've got to have the things from the Bible or whatever. So you've got the pandemic, which is mostly targeting children. That's scary.
Sure.
All of these three things were great. The planes falling out of the sky is very scary. When planes are just and the footage for, having a very low budget, I feel like, and having everything take place in one location, that looked crazy. I also saw someone say that looked bad. I don't think so.
I disagree. Yeah,
I think if you looked out and saw a plane falling from the sky, that's what it would look like.
Exactly. I don't know what else you want it to look like.
And there's like 700 like planes just drop, like 700 planes just without warning are falling from the sky. That was scary.
It's a scary thought.
It was a very scary thing to be thinking. In other horror movies, it's like, oh, what if this guy in your house was the devil and he's in your Skinamarink or whatever? I don't know.
Yeah,
doesn't faze me.
No,
the threat of just this happens and this is the world we live in. It is the alien in science thing.
Yeah,
just everything is wrong and no one knows what's going on. The way it's kind of portrayed, the way he portrays stuff also on like the cell phone video camera side is always great.
Somehow he knows how to do it more effectively than anyone else, because
no one else knows how to do like news broadcasts or anything.
Yeah,
they always suck. He just gets it
because it's real. There's an authenticity to it that is above in any other movie. I don't know how to explain it, because now especially you go back and look at that clip from Signs and it's like it doesn't look very good, like the CGI doesn't hold up. But if you we rewatched the movie a couple years ago and it still sent a chill down my spine, just because, and it's the reaction to it, well, specifically in that movie. But I don't know, it's just good. But what'd you think of his cameo?
Oh, that just made me laugh. I said, there he is, the little stinker. He had to get in there.
How can I be in the movie about a remote cabin of 4 people in one room? He did it.
And it's on TV for too long.
Yeah.
Like they're changing channels and then it sits there for a minute and a half. he's like, set it and forget it, everybody. Let's go.
I'm glad that he didn't put himself as like the person at the diner.
Mm-hmm.
So he's done that before. And people don't when he's the last thing that you see, you're like, okay, well, so it was all about him, I guess.
And, he's like, I'm coming home, honey. And you're just like, wow.
Yeah. But I like it. Well, also it's like an Arrested Development joke where they're like, turn the TV on and it's a commercial for too long. And then because it is funny. Usually in a movie, you turn the TV on and it's exactly where you want it to be.
Right.
So it made sense that way, but it did just seem like a a funny comedy bit that didn't necessarily need to be there. But I liked it. I don't care.
I was gonna say that I'm glad it wasn't like he wasn't one of the people on the news, because I was like, I feel like that would take me out of it at a time when I want to believe what's going on.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, they've just had their house, like, it was just after this great thing of home invasion where he's like, they're breaking in, and they're being tied up, and then you get like Dork and Dork 2 on TV for a minute.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's funny, I guess, for people that know him, and then if not, you're just confused.
Yeah, it's kind of presented without any context, which is funny to me. I was happy with it. Let's see.
I like all the framing though. Speaking of the TV, the cartoon playing in the background as they're talking to Redman, that's like so unbalanced. They're both on the right hand side of the screen.
Yeah, it's just unsettling. Everything's unsettling. One other thing that I read someone had an issue with. Someone brought up when when Leonard's watching the cartoon and with Wen or whatever, and he's like, I've never seen this program, but I like it. It promotes caring for others and blah blah. Like, he lists the things that make it seem like a good cartoon for kids. People are like, why would he say that? No one would ever say that on Earth. Why would anyone? And I was like, I love that part, because you know that he's
a good person.
You know that he's a good person, and it kind of points to, okay, he knows about kids. Like he knows, and then we find out later he's a teacher.
He's a second grade teacher, and he coaches basketball. And then there's, of course, the jokes about, if that guy was my second grade student's teacher. He's a nice guy. He's a big guy.
Yeah. And
people are wrestlers before they become teachers. I don't know.
And if you listen to our main show podcast where we do make fun of the fact that he could never play anything other than a wrestler, you will think that but this is where we're sincere, right, buddy?
Yeah.
He could, I believe it. He was a bodybuilder, and now he's a second grade teacher. What?
That Who just cares? Makes it, he's just a nice,
it's more interesting.
What was the shot where they're like, do they shake hands or something at the beginning? His huge, like, meaty claw, like, envelops her whole head.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I don't care about that part. I don't care that he says it does these things. The whole time he's talking like that.
Yeah.
He's like affirming things, and he's making sure, like, the way that he voices his opinion and says things is in that cadence.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny that they just did this, and he's a huge monster man, and he's like, I like this children's show. It's a little, it's just shut up. I didn't like the movie, but that doesn't mean
well,
I didn't like the movie.
Like, in that way, when you're initially just meeting them, you're like, okay, well, is this guy a creep? He's like a freak, and that's why he's weird. But no, like, it works on many levels for me in almost every aspect. And what horror movie recently, and it's not a horror movie. It's not. And it never has been, and it never will be. And that goes for all of his movies. I don't care what they want. When what's the one where when Sixth Sense came out? That people thought that was a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing horrifying happens in it except dead people are in it, and it is scary for a young boy to see. When I saw it, I was very scared, but it's not an actual horror movie. He's never made a horror movie. The Visit. That's the only horror movie he's made.
Yeah. Kind of.
Yeah.
The Village, maybe.
But not really.
But not really. But don't spoil it. This is the episode where we spoil Knock at the Cabin, not The Village.
Right. Signs, there are some truly terrifying things in Signs.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, that's another movie about belief in something. And I don't know, I find him to be infinitely interesting when most people aren't. So I will always support the guy.
Yeah, I'll keep
And
going.
He's funding his own movies. I just like that he's like, all right, I'll do it myself. And then like he has a point of view, he has a perspective, and it's not a cynical one. I think that's refreshing. Like he's an empathetic guy.
That's kind of where I was not put off. I was surprised by the ending being so sincere. Not that he hasn't done that before, whatever. I mean,
yeah, pretty much every time.
It depends. It depends. I don't know if the end of The Visit is that. I think the end of The Visit is like, wow, that's freaking fricked up.
Yeah, it would be interesting to watch all of his movies back to back as like a kind of a like academically, because I think The Visit is the outlier,
right?
And it's the only one that is like, okay, I'm making a found footage horror movie. That's the project of this one, and then he commits to it and he does it, and it's pretty good.
We can do that for our upcoming show, M Night and Day or something.
Yeah,
M Night and Day. M Night
and Day.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, wait.
Or maybe M Night and Day. Hey, don't go away yet. We're still talking about the movie.
Oh, wait. Okay. M Night
and
Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll think about it.
Yeah.
Probably M Night and Day.
Yeah,
but so the movie's not bad. I joke, but it's not my favorite of his. It didn't leave me going, wow. It was a simple story. I left going, okay.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of a Shyamalan, I think. I think he's doing some interesting stuff. Again, I haven't seen Servant or Old, so I haven't seen anything he's done recently.
Yeah.
But I was intrigued by this one, and I think it was a good time at the theater.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how anyone could be like, it's very watchable. Mm-hmm. Like I don't see how you could be bored while watching it.
No, and it is there are great, like when he's trying to get the gun out of the car.
Yeah, tense.
The whole time you are scared.
Mm-hmm.
Is she gonna get him? But they live up to what they said. They're like, we're not going to kill you.
I know. That's another great trick of the movie.
They're tense. You're tense, but they've said we're not here to, like, you have to make this decision yourself, but we're not going to kill you. And then they start killing themselves off.
Yeah.
And then you see that plaque in the back of the guy's car that has all his basketball students have signed for him.
Yeah.
And you go,
and the one little like improv comedian girl.
Yeah.
Looks like she's just, she was great. But she did have a kid. She did have a son.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They all were telling the truth.
Everyone was telling the truth. And then the final sort of thing, he sees Edmund's work ID in it's Edmund's truck.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, it's Edmund's vehicle, his arch enemy, that he uses to escape.
Isn't that something?
It's just kind of, well, it's just kind of neat.
It's a neat little film. I do think it would work as a play.
Yeah, probably. Should we put that on?
We could.
Okay.
You can be the guy. You can be the M Night cameo person.
Oh,
I
thought maybe I could be Daddy Eric.
Buddy, you already are.
Yes.
So what's your final rating of this film?
Final rating of the film. Were there anything else, nothing else you wanted to talk about?
Gosh, I mean, I like that they're at a cabin. I like that the cabin burns down. There is a higher presence that I believe is like, because that's the thing is you think, well, they're going to murder someone and their future is going to be that everyone's saved, but he goes to jail for the rest of his life.
Right.
But I think the idea is, even though I could be nitpicky and say you can still tell that someone got shot if their cabin burns down. But I think the point is the sort of the evidence of what has happened there is being buried.
Yeah.
Like they are probably going to have to explain that an accident happened or something, that the cabin burned down and he couldn't get out. But there's a higher presence taking care of. They're going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
A bunch of dead bodies around. But I guess it is being sort of all that other stuff happened too. So it's not crazy that one of them would have died when people were getting sick and planes were falling out of the sky.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that was going on that people were dying from. So,
so I think that takes care of itself. I thought that was interesting that the cabin's on fire.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, I think it's interesting that they.
I mean, if you don't have anything to say, you don't have to.
I thought it was he goes to a shooting range, so that's cool. He can't get the bullets in the gun. What else? Anything you wanted to say?
No, not really. I feel like I cut you off a few minutes ago, and I wanted to make sure you got to say everything that you said. Wanted to say, rather.
Leonard's in the tub.
Hey, that was pretty tense, huh?
So why does it, so that lady was shot, right? He shoots her.
Yes.
And
the nurse
gets shot, but
he still
counts, or he still has to stab her.
I think he still clunked her with his tool.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, interesting. That's just one of those little plot holes that I'll let you deal with.
Well, I don't really think it's a plot hole. I think you and Rotten Tomatoes people need to find out what a plot hole actually is. Do some research. Because she wasn't necessarily dead, getting shot in the stomach.
Well, but she wasn't moving.
Well, but she might still be grasping to life inside. So Leonard quickly clunks her with his special god tool.
Yeah.
And that completes the circuit.
Mm-hmm.
And then the planes start flying out of the sky. And then he goes out. I'd like to do this outside. And they just calmly follow him outside.
Mm-hmm.
He sits on his rocking chair. The camera, and I loved this shot. They're like, go. I think it was all one shot for a while. They're like, go take your iPod and go up into the treehouse.
Mm-hmm.
She walks off, and then it pushes into Leonard with his little knife as he's talking about what happens next. Then he does slice his throat. And then the one time I did jump in the theater, it was so unexpected. A giant lightning strike I just wasn't expecting it. I was just
Yeah.
sitting there half asleep. So I was like, Jesus, this is boring. And then no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That's a joke. I can't joke anymore.
You're the one that said this is. You said before we started. You said remember.
We're not.
This is a review episode. This is
We
not.
don't joke.
Yeah.
We don't joke on the movie review episodes.
We don't mess around and find out.
But now the lightning strikes, and I
Mhm.
went, hey! I went, jeez. I went, "Ew." I went like this.
Do you want to know how the book?
No, I'm going to read the book. Do not
Okay.
tell me.
I just want to make sure before I said anything.
I'm going to read the book because I have a head full of ghosts on my shelf. One of his other novels. Like I said, his short story collection, very good. This guy's a great author. Glad he's getting some. I think his, well, no, forget about it. But the books,
Wow.
the books I read. Well, I was going to tell a story that I don't need to tell. So, not on this.
No, this is not where we get into stuff like that. This is sort of a review episode. You're only getting the bare facts, folks, about us.
Right. That's right.
That's the bare facts, folks.
Paul Tremblay, check out his stuff. He's good.
I think it was an interesting. I give it a 6.5.
6.5
out of 10.
I give it a 7.5.
Okay, so we're not so different, you and I.
No, I think, like in the grand scheme of things, it's not the best movie I've ever seen. But actually, I'm going to give it an 8.
Oh, he just thought of some other movies you saw and it bumped
I
it
was
up.
like, well, the Zack Snyder Justice League, and then the regular Justice League, and all of Zack Snyder's other movies are, perfect. And this is only 2 below those.
Right.
Sucker Punch, the rest. So
at all.
No, can I do a 7.75?
You can do whatever you want.
All right.
I think I'm not locking you at it's not a zip tie.
I think right now I'll do a 7.75 with the option to revisit in a couple years and change my opinion.
I do think it is a movie where everything you need is right there. I don't think there's going to be many think pieces that are going to change my.
Be honest, I swayed you a little bit. I bumped you up. I bumped you up from a 6.
I knew you were going to like it.
You were sitting there watching it, being like, "This idiot that I have to deal with all the time."
This is the guy he won't stop talking about.
I just know he loves this terrible movie.
The whole time ago, he probably likes that you know that he didn't go out the window.
I did. He's too big. He couldn't fit. When they showed the window and it was small but busted, the people next to me, who I think were the same people that said, "I'll never watch this movie."
This.
Yeah, they laughed. They laughed when they saw the window, how small it was.
Well, imagine him with his little head stuck in there.
But how tense did that make the scene? Because you didn't know. Again, he introduces a sliver of doubt, even in a small, that scene itself is just a little microcosm of the whole movie. Just introduce a sliver of doubt. You know he can't fit through that. It would be stupid if he fit through that window. But the option is there. Then they have to decide, do we believe that he actually escaped the bathroom? They're scared to open the door because they don't know what they believe. It's all about a trust in each other, a trust in yourself. I love that the guy had a concussion and that, well, I'll just leave it there. I love that he had a concussion.
I like that at the end of this, we don't know why.
I like that he had a concussion.
No, you can leave it there.
I like that he had a concussion.
I think you have a concussion.
No, but because puts into doubt when he sees the figure. That's what I was going to come back around to. The light is affecting his eyes. You didn't actually see a figure.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't
Can
actually
you close those blinds for me? Dinky,
Yeah.
dinky, dinky. And then you got Mr. Grint say, "I'll see what I can do." None of these kids from Harry Potter, they can't do it. They can't do an American accent.
No. And they shouldn't.
They don't
why
need
would
to.
You? No.
But it's like, oh, I gotta go to the store and buy some clothes for myself. Meanwhile, I didn't know Daddy Andrew is a Brit. I should look that up to be sure. I've said it enough times that the first time people heard it, they're still not listening now. So I should try to correct it before the rest of you leave.
I don't know. I liked that he had
He's
a
from the
concussion.
UK. 6'1". It's a tall. I'm gonna climb that tree.
Yeah, I liked that he had a concussion.
Yeah, I like that he had a concussion.
I'm
talking about you.
No, what were you gonna say though?
Who cares? No, I like that it is one of those things where why was this family picked? Why were these 4 people picked?
It's not the family.
We don't actually know. It's not the family? What are you talking about? Why was this family picked to have to kill one of their own?
Well, it's posited that their love is so pure that only a love so pure could even be strong enough to make that sacrifice.
You know when Abraham had to go up there and turn his son into chopped liver?
Oh yeah.
At the very last second, right as he takes his top hat off to do the dirty deed.
Yeah.
God goes, wait. It was just a test.
Goes,
do you think he was mad do you think this was supposed to be the same situation, but because he used the gun, the bullet went too fast?
Yeah. God,
and he was about to say,
stop it.
It was too slow.
It ain't like it used to be.
Because all of a sudden
he use a sickle.
Dad Eric is standing next to him all of a sudden up in heaven. He's like, whoa.
That is not the way I meant that to go.
I was just about to stop him. I knew that he was going to. So that was probably a mistake on his part.
God's?
So I'd like to see the sequel.
Oh, yeah. That would be funny.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly.
God's Eric's not dead.
I don't know. I like the movie. I give it a 7.75.
We don't have to keep going.
No, I'm done.
People
I'm just
get
trying
the point.
I'm trying to think of like what else was there for me to talk about, but I think that's pretty much it. Like you said, I like that all the I like that he had a concussion. All right.
Well, everyone, you've heard our thoughts about knocking at the cabin.
Because the book is called The Cabin at the End of the World.
Mm-hmm.
So
why is it called Knock at the Cabin?
Well, that's what I'm wondering, if not knowing anything about the book, but seeming like, because they're like, we didn't know it was you guys. We were just coming to this cabin.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to me to imply that the location of the cabin is the important part. It didn't necessarily matter who was there. It was this time, this day, this cabin. So people are going to be there that need. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it was important that it was them,
right?
That was there,
but not that those 4 people knew it was them,
right? That was the sort of the providence of the higher power.
Yeah, I just think the whole Redmond thing is stupid.
Yeah, it's my least favorite part of it because it adds stuff that doesn't need to be added, and it distracts from better parts.
Also, don't have it be Rupert Grint.
Yeah, that's true.
I know that you're like friends with him now, and he's working on Servant, so you're like, hey, do you want to go like upstate with me? It's just like a 2-day part. I get that, but don't put that on there's baggage that comes with this. Just get another improv. I'm sure that lady has worked with a bunch of people at Groundlings.
Yeah.
She could bring someone on for a couple days.
She's like, I have a friend in the Sunday Company that does a great Boston accent. Yeah, I don't know. You ever seen that Harry Potter movie? He thinks there's only one. That's what's crazy about him.
And he thinks it's long.
He thinks it's one 9-hour movie.
Yeah, I like that he had a concussion.
I love that part. I loved it. I liked it. No, I loved it. All
well, right. As we say at the end of every episode, you've been had.
We got you. We have been two concussed people talking on mic about a movie we didn't see. That's the twist. We hadn't even seen the movie.
That's why we keep saying it is what it is. I don't know. The movie was about what I saw from the trailer.
Yeah.
Listen back on this episode, and you'll hear the twist.
This is an M. Night Shyamalan-esque sort of reveal. That now, once you listen to this episode again, you'll be like, God, they really did think of all of it beforehand. Catch us on our other podcast, M. Night and Day, as we go through the guy's oeuvre. And, well, basically, I liked that he had a concussion, and peace and blessings to all. What do you have to say?
Bye.
Bye.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.